in the big issues segment brought to you by Niche Chocolate. Niche Chocolate is available across the country and it's nutritious, it's healthy, contains all the vitamins and minerals that you can think about that you need for your growth and well-being, and it's good for every single member of the family. You need to grab either a bottle or a toy pack or a sachet, make your warm beverage or make it cold, if you will. They've done chocolate nuggets as well that you can enjoy, and it's 100% Ghanaian made, rich flavor there as well. You need to enjoy it. So Niche Chocolate, that's what I advertised to you this morning. The new publisher starts us off. Akufo-Addo congratulates new party leaders. And in team chairs, the NPP, after 20 years of campaign, JFK kicks out John Boydu. NPA closes down fuel stations for cheating customers. Suspected drug dealers attack police in Kumasi. And digitalization without cybersecurity is meaningless. Esla Owusu-Akufo is minister for that sector. The Inquisitor, IMF pokes finance ministry over involvement in GRA procurement issues. NADMO's mid-year report records less disaster in northern region. Also, JFK dethrones JB. Monocracy, Asabi screams. Akumpreku warns. And Asabi, well, did I hear 400 Ghana cedis? Deka, good morning to you. We are still in denial that money was around the place. Adance here. Let's fight terrorism threat backbing. Government stabs labor workers in the back as 15% COLA is permanent after additional monies to negotiation teams. Pram Nene Tete Waka exposed again as he begs court to retrieve sacred stool from Paramount's two father. $1 billion Ghana cedi, $1 billion syndicated loan. Ghana in a massive hole. John Mahama believes so. Lands to be rescued from government land grabbing syndicate. Who is this? King Ayi Tuma, the second chief of defense of the Gas State. Well, the Gas State said they were going to investigate the Achimota forest saga. They said it about a month ago. We have not heard anything. Has the investigations been concluded? I don't know. I'm just asking you. Supreme newspaper. Shocking revelations at NPP Congress. John Boydu dethroned. In team Nanabi Kodja Salam take over leadership. Congrats to Salam, the vice president's office. Tete Waka exposed again. And NPA clams down fuel stations in Western region. Ignore the defamatory publications against me. Hassan Zain. The Today newspaper. NPP elects new national executive. Stephen Tim clinches chairmanship position. Chasin Kodia beats incumbent John Boydu in general secretary race. Support indigenous Ghanaian enterprises. PPP to government. Mahama exposes the Electoral Commission. The Republic Press says, I won't resign. Ken Oforiatta replies critics. He says, is akin to a father resigning from his children. Well, the outcome of delegates conference is a win for NPP, according to the Alan Tremantingan. Side chicks won't be there when you grow. Take care of your wives. Producer to men. Okay, the men have heard you. The BNFT, heed calls to cut size of government. Economists, well, is the president willing to reshuffle, cut down the size of government? I don't know. But mining, finance, tech dominate local stock market. Inflationary pressures may hike policy rates by up to 2%, and fuel prices to shoot up 2.87% in 5 years. Well, I'm told that the prices are being reviewed downwards beginning yesterday. The Ghanaian Observer, breaking the 8. Let's unite behind new executives. Akufo-Addo charges NPP supporters. Free SHS will not be cancelled, according to Akufo-Addo. Government is working on developing a credit system in Ghana, VIP. And the outcome of the NPP election is victory for the New Patriotic Party. The Daily Statement, MPC calls for effective population management. President assures good deal with the IMF. In team JFK lead new dawn in the MPP. Ochiman fights Coans over dubious land acquisitions. The Daily Analyst is next. It says in team grabs NPP chair. That's on the front page. The Daily Guide is next. It says, well, Akufo-Addo Lords Freddie Blay in team leads NPP into 2024, I beg your pardon, as JFK unseats JB. Ghana Health Service confirms Marburg virus in Ghana. And that pledges good deal with the IMF. Daily Graphic, after laboring for 20 years in team chairs, the NPP Kodia upsets John Boydu to win the general secretaryship position. National interest won't be compromised. IMF deal, President says so. NMC engages media of the state to share ideas. The Ghanaian Times 2022 NPP Delegates Conference is in team at last. Get North for contesting unsuccessfully for the last 20 years in previous elections. NPA clamps down Western regional fuel stations for cheating. Consumers will negotiate a good IMF deal. And court orders defendants in COVID-19 protocol breach case to open their defense. There's so many ministers in government who flouted the COVID-19 rule as well. The Finder newspaper, Nanado calls for unity to guide future NPP. Accra Tema train shuttle service resumes today. Conference results is a winner for the NPP. And a headline, elected to break the 8 for the first time in the Fourth Republic. And I'm saying that people broke the COVID protocols plenty. Check the December 2020 campaigns of both the NDC and the NPP. You give me my receipts back. Kofi Amel is the man in charge of communications at the UN Permanent Mission in New York. He's also a member of the NPP's National Communications team and a very, very proud member of the Stephen in Team campaign, even though at some point he was not too vocal within the Stephen in Team campaign. But now, Kofi Amel is here. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
You're wearing white.
I'm in a very celebrant mood.
I can imagine.
I was vocal. In fact, I was his branding and communications director. So anything you see about his branding, I was in charge. His communications.
You're taking your shine.
No, I just want
Kofi Amel.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years.
How does it feel?
So, I mean, when he won and we were on the days, and I asked him, how do you feel? He said, I'm okay. And I said, no, it hasn't dawned on you yet. I mean, when you wake up in the morning and you realize your routine has changed, you see it's a new beginning. And I think he's excited, he's grateful. During when we were campaigning, he asked delegates to give him a birthday gift by voting for him to become the national chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Today is his birthday. 64th birthday.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Happy birthday to him. Yes. Please look for Mr. Stephen Team's victory speech. Let's quickly play it. But today's his birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday also to Chairman Stephen in Team. I should call him that, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, happy birthday to you, sir. It was great working with you. And I think that the NPP has spoken. And it's a clear indication that the NPP is ready for 2024. I spoke with Bella before the commencement of the conference.
Right.
And I made a point that he comes with a world and a village of experience and expertise, coming from the backdrop of the fact that he's been in that race for 20 years. So he has gathered a lot of experience, discipline, and commitment. And that is what are required to ensure that we will be able to break the 8. I am positive that with the election of Stephen Team, that overwhelming endorsement, 72%, which is unprecedented in the history of the party in terms of the chairmanship race, I think it's a clear signal and indication that we want to give the party to an individual who will be able to reward loyalty in the party. An individual who will be able to strengthen the wings of the party, an individual who can be able to make sure that there's a fair and equitable distribution of opportunities that come to the party. And Stephen Team has demonstrated these qualities over the years. Even when he loses elections, you will never hear him say anything. We are in a reconciliatory mood, so I wouldn't go back.
You don't go back. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
I started this.
Yes,
don't go back.
Yes,
Thank you.
So clearly, MPP is ready for 2024.
Okay. Adam Magbana will join us shortly, and we'll hear his own thoughts as well. John Boydu gathered 2,524 votes. Idris Musa garnered 104 votes. Ramsey Ahmed Ajiman Prempe garnered 8 votes. Charles Bisu garnered 12 votes, even though he had pulled out, but people still went and voted for him. Frederick Opariansa got 50 votes. Justin Kodia Frimpong got 2,837 votes. Abayimoko. There were a total of 21 rejected ballots, 5,535 votes, and then there was a total vote cast of 5,556 everybody has signed. It was bloody. Well, so look at it. For John Boyd, for example, the figure says 2,524, and then the words is 2,024. I don't know who wrote this, but anyway, Adam Abana is here. Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Johnny.
NPP has concluded their conference. You are still wearing red beret.
Well, good morning to you, to Kofi, and all our viewers this morning. I'm wearing the beret for two reasons.
Why?
Though the two reasons may be unrelated. First reason is that it is a special gift from the opposition leader of Uganda, Bobby Wine, the popular Bobby Wine.
Right.
So
he gave this to you.
Yeah, this is Bobby Wine's personal.
Yes. Him with Akushami and the rest.
Yes. But I had a special with other group of leaders. We had a special session with Bobby Wine, and he personally handed over this.
Why
this
did he do that
to me? I'm an activist. We believe in the same things: fighting for a better country, fighting for the people, and representing the voice of young people across the continent. And so he is privy to some of the things that I'm doing here in Ghana, and he believes that we both are on the same path. And so he gave me this as a special, very symbolic, and that is why I'm wearing it this morning. The second reason is that I'm a leading member of Arise Ghana, and we are still pursuing accountability. We are still fighting for the good people of Ghana. You may be aware that come Wednesday, we have a public forum to discuss Ghana's return to the IMF, the implications, and how the Akufo-Addo government is mismanaging the economy. And so these are the two reasons why I'm wearing.
Would you ever let the government breathe?
No, I mean, it doesn't look, the government is not allowing Ghanaians to breathe, and so we also not allow them to breathe. It's important for us to hold them accountable and put them on their toes, because this government has failed. This is, this President Akufo-Addo has failed, and the government has failed. As we speak today, it doesn't appear as though we have a leadership in this country, because I would be surprised to know that we have a leader, because, Johnny, the things that are happening, it is only an insensitive and a wicked leader that can supervise the kind of thievery, the kind of corruption, the kind of crisis, the economic hardship that we find ourselves in. Because I believe that President Akufo-Addo only wanted to fulfill a childhood ambition of becoming president.
That's not fair.
So he doesn't care.
That's not fair to him.
No, but Johnny, we are in a country where
he has told you, so look, I will negotiate a better IMF deal. I will make sure that you're comfortable. He's made pledges to us.
Johnny, the words of President Akufo-Addo means nothing, because he has proven that he is a man who doesn't live or act according to his words. He says one thing and does the contrary. President Akufo-Addo's words can never be taken seriously. I will never take President Akufo-Addo's words serious again. This is not the same president and his cabinet that went shouting over the roof that they will never go to IMF. Why are they there today?
Okay.
Is it not the same president who told us that when he's voted into power, he will reduce fuel prices? What happened? He held a gallon and said, "Petronumu to mito ana meba reduce." So today, where are we today? So President Akufo-Addo's words can never be taken seriously. And so this morning, the point I'm trying to make is that we don't believe that we have a leader in this country, because President Akufo-Addo is clearly not in charge.
Okay, Kofi,
Johnny.
NPP internal elections.
I didn't talk about that.
It's okay, we'll start. He was not start. This is I said good morning to you. And
this is just good morning.
Kofi, the NPP had its internal elections. Of course, your candidate won. The conversations we're hearing now is that it's a win for the NPP. But if you're on the other side, obviously, and your candidate won, you may be thinking differently.
What do you mean by if you're on the other side?
If I am a Sabi, if I am a Mayor Okonfi, if I am Sami Crab, and I didn't win, and you tell me it's a win for the NPP, and I am a fanatic of those people, I may take it with a pinch of salt. So I don't know what's on your mind now, but give us a wrap of the conference as it happened over the weekend.
I think, but for the delay of the conference, I mean, everything was on point. I love the design. I love branding. The branding was great. The theme was spot on because that's what we need, holding together, working together. We need unity to be able to make sure 2024 we break the 8s, not for the NPP, but for Ghanaians, because the truth of the matter is that it's the NPP's policies and programs, enactment of laws that find favor with the people. So clearly we have a task. Yes, we are challenged, but at the end of the day, if you're able to come together as a party, if you're able to work together as a party, everything is possible. And I mean, the speech of the president, before the speech, I was asked what would the president say, and I made the point that he would use the opportunity to talk about the IMF. He used the opportunity to really allay fears with regard to what we intend to do, going to the IMF for some breather. And
should the president have apologized?
Everything
should
that
the
was
president
said
have
on that
apologized?
day, we will come to that. We will come to that. Everything that was said on that day, and the climax of it all, that's the elections. That got Stephen Newday elected with almost 73%. For me, it's a clear call that the party is ready for a paradigm shift. The party is ready to return to its conservative ideas. The party is ready to go back to its traditions and principles. And Stephen Newday is a representation of what NPP really is. I have worked with him every single day for the last 4 years. And this is a man who believes in rewarding loyalty. This is a man who believes in making sure he strengthens the wings of the party. This is a man who will get out there and work. And this is what we need to be able to ensure that at the end of the day, we are able to break the 8. He has shown commitment and discipline. That is what is required to ensure that at the end of the day, if we want to come together without discipline, we can do it. If we want to come together without commitment, we can do it. If we want to come together without loyalty, and this man has shown endurance, long-suffering, and loyalty. And I believe the NPP is now saying that, okay, now, we are the Liberal Party. We believe in an empowering individuals, and our chair should be an embodiment. And I was making the point that
he gets sympathy votes.
Of course, it's part of the game. It's part of politics.
Brett has been here for 4 times already. Lost against what do you call it? Jacob Echebelamte.
John, you can be coming for 20 years or 50 years, but if you don't demonstrate that you have the qualities, if you don't have a demonstrable record, and this man has shown it. Look, when he loses elections, he doesn't go to sleep. He continues to support the cause of the New Patriotic Party. He provides logistics. I mean, go to the constituency offices, go to the regional offices. His letterheads are there. Anytime there's a general election, parliamentary candidates receive one logistic. The other day, you reminded me how he was supporting candidates even in Okanko, where his father was the chairman of that constituency. Right. So that has been his character. I knew
him as a boy.
Yeah, that has been his character. So for me, the NPP was saying we need a signpost. We need a new direction. And Stephen Newday is a new direction. Yesterday I was with him at night. We were discussing the way forward. Right after he had won the election. He hadn't even slept, but yet we were discussing the way forward. And I am extremely optimistic that this man will do something unprecedented, as he has done by making sure he got elected with 73 votes. Now you talk about whether we should apologize.
Yeah, should the president have apologized?
Before I go into that, let me spend some 30 seconds to respond to what
I thought you would answer that and then
yeah, it dovetails into that. He said, we don't have leadership. We have a leader now, in spite of all our many challenges, which have been admitted by him, even in last year's budget, paragraph 20, recognizing that we are suffering as a people, recognizing that we are challenged as a people. In fact, before that, during one of his moments speaking to Ghanaians, fellow Ghanaians, he made the admission and called that, listen, at some point this economy will die. But when it does, we are capable of bringing it back to life. So we will make sure we invest everything we have into, making sure lives are safe. Now, in spite of everything, workers are demanding for cost of living allowance 20%. Do you know how much he gave them? 15%. We had a president. At the time, workers were demanding for an increment, better conditions of living. Do you know what he told him? He's a dead goat. That's the kind of leader we had.
Why do you want to always?
I'm here with Agbana.
Measure yourself with.
No, I'm here with NDC.
With what you call incompetent.
No, I'm here with NDC.
Right. That's
and
why
they want to come back.
You know, he would answer. He would answer.
So
but I'm saying that why do you?
I am talking about.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Now, why does the government's tone always sound like we want to compare ourselves with what we called incompetent? You called them incompetent for doing all what you're accusing
Ask
them of.
Agbana whether the NDC want to come back to government. Ask His Excellency John Dramani Mahama whether he wants to become a president again. As long as these people remain and have an intention to come back to government, we need to remind Ghanaians who they are. If today Agbana is saying that we don't have a leader in this country, that's extremely unfortunate. To come from somebody who believes in Ghana. We have a government and a president who made sure that he would do whatever it takes to save lives in this country. At the time when Ghanaians were challenged, we had a president who was insulting the youth of this country, telling us he's not a magician to provide us with jobs. Is that what Akufo-Addo did? He's talking about a man of not his words. This is a man who believed in free SHS. 9 months into his administration, he made sure that policy was implemented. This is a man who believed in industrialization drive, making sure every district at least will receive one factory or the other. It is ongoing. This is a man who believed in chapter 5 of our manifesto that this country must develop across board. So he instituted the Special Development Initiative Ministry and also brought up the the Development Authority. We can go into that. Now, on the issue of whether we have to apologize on the issue of the IMF. First of all, let me reiterate the point that we are not happy where we are as a government. We never intended to go back to IMF. But where we are now, Johnny, it's a bad place. It's a bad place because of the consequences of the global pandemic that affected not just Ghana, but the world across. And then exacerbated by the Russian-Ukraine war. We had a plan, and that plan was to raise revenue locally. That is why we introduced the e-levy to ensure, though not a very fine, way of, but that's one of the best ways we could have raised revenue. As a result of the stiff opposition and the obstruction nature of the NDC, the e-levy faced some setbacks. Now we are not able to realize the amount of money.
You failed to consult extensively.
You see, it's clear. It's clear that the NDC, you ask him a question, would you allow the government to breathe? And he told you no. At the end of the day, it is the agenda of the NDC to ensure that this country becomes ungovernable. They've had private meetings. They've had private meetings that have come out publicly that they don't want this government to govern.
Kofi, your own government promised that you're going to engage all the 16 regions in the matter of the e-levy, even after you had not consulted and went to Parliament to announce it on the 17th of November 2021. You did only 6 of those town hall meetings, and that's it. You rushed back to Parliament to pass the e-levy. You didn't consult. You didn't allow public participation. That's why you're facing what you're facing, largely.
No. You see, government must mobilize revenue locally to be able to do what it needs to be, do. At the end of the day, yes, was there a broader consultation on e-levy? It didn't come early enough. At the same point, we needed the money because when you go to the financial market, there wasn't no money there. So, look, e-levy was passed sometime in April. It was supposed to have been passed in the beginning of the year.
But you didn't consult the people.
I am saying that, yes, that mistake had happened. But did that mean that we should be punished for it once we needed the money? Now, today, we are asking for 20% increments of cost of living allowance and other developmental, agenda that are on board that needs to be financed. But the truth of the matter is that we have shown faith. We have shown commitment to making sure this country develops. This president is not happy where we are. Going to IMF is not what we intended. We still believe in the Ghana Beyond Aid.
You have not answered my question. Should the president have apologized?
Apologize for
taking us back to the IMF when his finance minister and other key people within the party said, we will not.
The issue is not about an apology.
In fact, the president in that interview with the BBC's Peter Koche denied and refused the claim that the economy was in a bad place. The president is on record. I have that tape.
Don't worry, you can. The truth of the matter, the issue is not about an apology.
But what is it about?
The issue is about making sure we take the necessary steps to rescue this country. Making sure we take the necessary steps to ensure that we bring the economy back to life. And I think that should be the focus.
We are
appealing to Ghanaians to come with us through these challenging times. Every step of the way, you come to us, you come with us,
Kofi,
so that at the end of the day, you will come out of these challenges and these
Kofi, how do Ghanaians come along with you? For example, your candidate, Stephen Ntim, is promising that, make me chairman, give me any candidate, I'll make him president.
True.
Right?
Yes.
Now, he has won the chairmanship. If we give Stephen Ntim a candidate, Baumia, Alan, a great minister, whoever wants to be president, Japan was the president, and he doesn't make him president in 2024, don't you think that he should be apologizing if that doesn't happen? Rather than admitting that, yes, I couldn't give you a president, but beyond the admission, he should apologize.
Again, the issue is not about an apology.
But what is it about?
It's about making sure we take the necessary steps.
Promise and fail. Promise and fail. Promise and fail.
But we haven't thrown away the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda.
Where is it?
We still believe in making sure that we must have policies and programs
where is
that
it?
are near to the benefit. And
where is it?
And the president has. Where is what?
Ghana Beyond Aid. Where is it?
Where is what?
Ghana Beyond Aid. Where is it?
The fact that, look, let's start from human development. The fact that we, in the next 10 years, we are going to have at least an educated youth. It's a plus.
They can't find food to eat in school. Are you aware?
The fact that
they can't
at
find
the end
food
of
to
the
eat.
day, in the next 10 years, we are going to have a strong industrialization base in this country. It's a plus.
A hungry student cannot learn effectively and efficiently.
Look, where did they go hungry? The school feeding program?
No.
We've sat here. Which one? We've sat here.
Secondary schools can't find food to eat. Have you not been in this country?
By who? It's a supply matter.
By who?
It's not a financial matter.
By who? By who?
It's a supply. It's a supply matter, not a financial issue.
Old boys are providing food for our students. Old boys.
No, wait. And I'm saying that yes, it's a supply issue, not a financial issue. Have they been resolved? Yes, they have been resolved. The education minister in recent time, I think last week, assure the students, the schools, that they've sent money to them. And I'm saying that these issues have to do with, of course.
Parents will not be happy with you.
That what?
What you're saying?
No, I am saying that yes, it's a supply. Have I not admitted that there's a challenge of supply? That maybe, for example, you have a stock of rice or maize or sugar, and they haven't been able to supply to you because of the fact that they are not available. That's what we are faced with. But at the end of the day, the fact still remains that it will take this government to be able to rescue us from our challenges.
Who took us into the challenges?
Why do we always have this argument,
oblivious
of the fact that something global happened to this world?
I'm sure that if Mr. Ntim had lost, you would have told us that it was because of COVID, Russia, Ukraine.
Why are you running away from that fact? And sometimes it saddens me, especially when we've had the former president going to a school in the United States of America, admitting that this global pandemic that happened, it has a cascading effect on economies, especially to developing countries. So why are we running away from that fact? Even when the IMF came and did the assessment, and they wrote their report, their initial report, their press release, they made the admission clear that we are where we are because of the global pandemic. But when we are having the discussion,
Kofi,
we tend to throw them away.
Kofi, you know why? You live in the US. COVID hit the United States.
I want to go there.
I'm coming. Is the United States complaining about COVID, Russia, Ukraine?
John, you don't follow the news?
I'm asking you.
You want me to take you back to what happened?
I'm asking you.
What is still
because
going
every single failing of the government is hinged on Russia, Ukraine, COVID.
But it's a fact.
I am sure that those who lost the elections over the weekend will say it's COVID, Russia, Ukraine.
Who has said that?
I'm saying some of them will be saying it.
But the point of the matter is that why are we running away from the fact that what happened affected the global economy?
I hear you. Adam is itching. Adam,
yes,
welcome.
Yes.
The NPP has elected new executives. They said they are ready to break the 8 and they will deal with the NDC as they have to. What do you say?
Johnny, before I come to the NPP's election, allow me to correct some misrepresentations and deliberate falsehood spewed by my colleague Kofi on the show. Johnny, prior to 2016, the Akufo-Addo led campaign engaged in a lot of propaganda, rented some media men, and indeed some are on record to have apologized to President Mahama post-2020 elections. And they engaged in all sorts of lies and said lots of things that President Mahama never said. And I'm surprised that those propagandist statements that should be reserved for the non-educated, the laymen, Kofi is repeating them on your show. Number one, Kofi said President Mahama told the youth of this country that he is not a magician to provide jobs. I will give you the story that had that headline. Let Kofi scroll through the story and point out when President Mahama said he's not a magician to give the young people of this country jobs. I recall that statement. What President Mahama said was that he was creating an economy that will give sustainable jobs and provide opportunities to young people. Indeed, he encouraged them to take advantage of the opportunities and said that you cannot sit at home without taking advantage of these opportunities and create wealth. Where in that statement? And so when some misguided journalists bought by the then Akufo-Addo campaign, decided to give the misleading headline, you sit on this show with discerning audience and you repeat it as if it is factual. I am challenging you before the end of this show. Produce the exact statement. Let your producers help him to tell us where President Mahama told people that he was not a magician to provide jobs. I'm very angry about this.
Slow down.
Because I am upset that Kofi of all people will also repeat this on a very honorable show like yours. They can do that in those their propagandist radio stations and TV platforms. But we are talking to discerning listeners and viewers. Point number two, President Mahama never told workers of this country that he has become a dead goat. President Mahama was addressing, or he was giving a speech where he said, look, when you are a leader in a country like Ghana, you wake up to all sorts of statements and insults and what have you. And so you needed to build a thick skin. And that he has even become a dead goat. He was speaking it as a metaphor, a dead goat, where the knife cannot even hurt him, as in the knife of criticisms and all of that. It was never in response to workers demanding for salary increment.
Was that not his response to people's sufferation?
No,
and
so
saying
Johnny, if I'm criticizing you, and I'm saying that Johnny's bite is this and that, and I'm saying all sorts of things, then you need your response is, oh, I am not perturbed by the criticisms
So he wasn't
and the
perturbed about the
insults and
suffering
all.
of the people.
Kofi, allow him.
Don't you see? You don't relate. He never. You made a statement. You lied.
But that's the impression people
he lied.
got.
No.
Look,
you see,
he
Johnny,
doesn't
it's
care
important for
about
us.
how the people
you see, this is
feel
a serious program. It's important for us to. He said categorically that in response to workers' demand for salary increment, President Mahama said he was a dead goat. Is that the truth?
That's the truth.
What? Produce the evidence. You see, you don't sit on this show, blatant lies. No. And I'm saying that, yes, I recall that statement. Produce the evidence. Don't sit here and tell blatant lies. This is your trademark. These are the things that you do. President Mahama never told workers.
That in Botswana, when he was asked
So
the question,
Ghanaian workers were in Botswana to demand for increment? Look at these cheap lies. No, you are saying that he said it in Botswana. I said that President Mahama said.
Do you know why he said that?
No.
The question that came before he said that.
What was the question?
He was asked.
What was the question? Please, don't engage in this propaganda. When you have your time, I will let you produce your evidence.
You can't into it.
You see, Johnny.
Don't invite him and shut
him. No, but when he was speaking, I had a lot of responses for him. But he's lying. So all I'm asking him is that he should produce the evidence.
You said he's unperturbed by the series of demonstrations and agitations against his administration. So
if I'm unperturbed, it doesn't mean that he was a dead goat.
Which source is that?
Modern Ghana.
Okay. When was this published?
Where's the quote?
Allow me.
So every headline that is given, I have read headlines. I have read headlines.
Look,
that said President Akufo-Addo is stealing the state's resources and sharing to his family. Should I hang on to that? Where's the quote?
Says that
And he said it's to the
when
workers.
you kill a goat,
Yes,
and you frighten it with a knife, it doesn't fear the knife because it's dead already. He said, for which reason I've given a dead goat syndrome. He went further to say,
no. Where is that saying that is a response to worker salary? No. You have embarrassed yourself. You need to accept it. You said that he was responding to workers.
This was a virtual response caused by the Deputy General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Anthony Yaban, for the president to go and take him for criticism.
He said this was a virtual response. But no, you see, you have embarrassed yourself. Don't say that he wasn't concerned about the sufferings of the people. Now, he wasn't sensitive to their plight. To the election, you see, you are giving your own misguided interpretations to what President Mahama said, and you were quoting, trying to create an impression as if that was the fact. I've just exposed you.
He said he wasn't a dead goat.
Now, let me come to their election.
So when President Mahama said it was a dead goat, what he
was talking about the fact that as a leader, it gets to a point where you build a tough skin for all sorts of things, including their propaganda, and that he gave that analogy of a dead goat, that a dead goat is not frightened by the knife because already you are dead. He was trying to create the impression that he has built a tough skin as a leader, and so he's not perturbed by criticisms, by propaganda, and all of that, and that he was focused on doing his work.
So it's not on the face value, it's figurative.
Figurative.
But if that is the case, then if President Akufo-Addo or Dr. Bawumia says something, you should also not take it on the face value.
Exactly.
You should put a figurative spin to it.
No, but President Mahama gave a figurative speech, and that's why he used a dead goat.
Right.
But if President Akufo-Addo says, if Akufo-Addo categorically states that when I'm voted into power, I will reduce the price of fuel.
Figurative.
That is a category. It cannot be a figurative speech. When President Akufo-Addo said that when he is voted into power, he will not appoint family and friends, and we have seen about 86 members of his family in this government. So we cannot take the president's word seriously. Now to their elections. Johnny, he made a statement about Stephen Tim being experienced. He spent 20 years waiting to be, well, I mean, motivational speakers can say...
You doubt that?
No, motivational speakers can say we can pick a lesson or two from it. But for me, I'm not really excited about the number of years he spent trying to become chairman.
They don't need you to be excited. They need you to be worried. They need you to be worried, yes.
When we have seen Akufo-Addo spent 30 years of his life. President Akufo-Addo spent 30 years of his life trying to be president. When he finally had the opportunity, we cannot see the mess of a president that he is. A failed president, clearly. This is not someone who spent 30 years of his life trying to be president. He has the opportunity today. In the midst of economic hardship, he's flying private jets, luxurious jets, because for him, he wanted to satisfy his childhood ambition of becoming president, his fantasies. So he doesn't care about the ordinary Ghanaian. So if it is about the number of years spent in becoming an office holder, President Akufo-Addo is a classical example of a leader who has failed.
You can't take that from Mr. Stephen Tim.
No, I didn't take it from him. What I'm saying is that if I am speaking to a group of young people as a motivational speaker, I can refer to it that don't give up. You can run over and over again, don't give up. But in terms of performance, this is not an indication that he will perform, because we have seen Akufo-Addo.
But he's given you assurance.
No, what assurance?
Of what he will do.
But in the last elections, when the former chairman, Freddie Blay, didn't he tell the delegates that he had bought buses for all the constituencies? The buses were on the way. Where are the buses? We know them. These are people who only make promises and they never deliver. So why do you take them?
But why is somebody's internal party matter?
No, it's not. So it's not my concern. I'm not referring to. I'm only saying that he is here painting the picture as though because Stephen Tim spent 20 years in becoming chairman, it's an indication that he will do well. I'm just giving him an example.
The older the wine, the finer
that cannot be the case in all instances. President Akufo-Addo spent 30 years and he has become a failure. No president has underperformed or perform as abysmal as President Akufo-Addo has.
Should he have apologized?
Why should we be worried? Again, something happened.
Should he have apologized?
He should be apologizing to the good people of Ghana, because every sector of the economy, education, what have you, has failed. I'm even shocked that Kofi sits here and he's telling the good people of Ghana that the food crisis we have in our secondary schools is a supply issue. My goodness. Let's learn to speak truth even doing politics.
What is the truth?
The truth is that as we speak, if we go to the northern regions, government has not been able to pay the suppliers for items, food items they supplied for more than a year. Because of that, they have refused to supply.
That's not true.
You go,
That's
you
not
see,
true.
but you go
Stop
to
lying.
schools, go to Wesley Girls, go to Infantsman, PTA. Parents have decided to contribute 500 Ghana cedis and 200 Ghana cedis to buy food for these children. And you sit here, you deny all of this.
And you know this for a fact.
I know this for a fact. And that is why I'm mentioning the schools. That Infantsman Girls School and Wesley Girls, they are even contributing 500 Ghana cedis. My school, my only school, some old students and teachers are contributing to get enough food for the students.
That's not true.
You sit
That's a
here,
lie. That's a
no,
lie.
you see, these are even issues that have been captured by many media houses. But
Okay.
Johnny, I will not leave here without talking about something that happened on Saturday.
You will talk about it
No,
after
yes.
the break. After the break. We'll talk
you.
about it after the break. Let's take a break. When we return, we will have a conversation. Senior Ben says a hungry people, hungry students, hungry parents with a satisfied president. We'll see you after the break. The guest in the studio, Kofi Amaya, is a member of the Stevening team. Shall I say government? Or now the campaigns are over. So he's a member of the in-team chairmanship, clique, and also Eric Edemagbana. He's a deputy national youth organizer of the opposition NDC. He has a red beret from.
You know he intends to
Bobby
go
Wine.
Is it Ketu something?
Yeah, Ketu North. That's what he said. Do you believe that?
Oh yeah, he's a fantastic gentleman. I think
That's Kofi Jamesi's area.
it doesn't matter. He's a
I'll break
fantastic
him.
gentleman. But I think
If
the
I'm on the
NPP,
ballot, he can't get 10%.
Ketu.
Ketu North.
He can't get
We should leave it like that.
it.
Okay.
Johnny.
Yes. You said what? Something happened
I
on
wanted to-
Saturday.
yes,
Sorry.
yes,
I
yes,
wanted
I
him
needed
to
to
wrap up
conclude.
so that I
Johnny.
come to you. Sorry, Kofi.
Johnny, of all the sins that the NPP committed on Saturday during their Congress, there is one that they must never be forgiven for.
Which is?
The decision to exclude Tescon from the voting process.
It was an injunction.
Globally,
It was an injunction.
Johnny, globally,
It was an
I'll
injunction.
tell you why, whether it was an injunction from the court or not, it was a terrible decision by the NPP.
But it was an
And
injunction.
really reflects who they are.
What could the
Johnny,
government
allow
have
me
done?
to-
So, hold on.
I'll get there.
So
I'll get there.
I remember that.
I'll get there,
Mr. Peter McMahon indicated that on Friday they had received an injunction on 291 Tescon members and 15 local proxy voters, right? So that's 306 in total. This is a court order. What can the party do?
Johnny, you have Tescon representing the NPP on our various tertiary campuses.
That's right.
And so that is the student wing. Supposed to be a training ground for future leaders of the party. At the time, there are global conversations about increasing youth participation in decision making in the political process. You have a political party in power failed to properly structure their Tescon delegates in such a way that it attracted so much controversy to the extent that an injunction could hold and prevent them from voting. If the party truly cared about these students, if the party truly wanted to give the students a voice and an opportunity to also decide who leads the NPP, they would have addressed these issues in-house and allowed the students to vote. Who told you? There were some constituencies that people had issues with, but they resolved all of that. Why couldn't they resolve that of
Didn't
Tescon?
resolve all constituencies.
Why didn't they allow Tescon to vote? Because Tescon representation is institutional.
So what do you
what
smell?
is the challenge?
What do you smell?
What I smell is that I have always maintained that the NPP always pretends to be a party that cares about young people. But that party will not give young people the opportunity. I feel terrible for my Tescon friends. In fact,
Amaya is a young man. Amaya is a young man.
Johnny,
See,
yesterday I
so-
received a call from a Tescon president who was supposed to be a delegate. In fact, he was in tears. Because It was a terrible decision.
He was
It
complaining
can never
to you.
happen in the NDC.
He was complaining
yes,
to you, not
we
to,
meet them
not to
on
his
campuses.
elders
No, but
in his
but
party.
even I even made a post on Facebook. Go and read the comments. Some are Tescon executives that came to say, look, we agree with you, and I'm saying this on authority. Such a terrible decision can never happen in the NDC.
But Ameya is
Where our students are denied.
Ameya is a young man. Kamal Dean is a young man. Paul Grave, Bachi Danka is a young man.
They are just young men by word of mouth.
What do you call it?
They are young men by word of mouth.
Abubakar is a young
If
man.
you deny your student wing, an integral part of the party organization, like student wing, an opportunity to vote, you think you can sit on TV and still claim that
was
we're a party that cares
an
about young
injunction.
people? What brought about the injunction, Johnny? Johnny, what brought about the injunction?
I don't know what the details are. Nobody has told us.
Let me tell you how Tescon delegates are selected. For both parties. So for the NDC, the 10 presidents, when you are elected and you are in office at the time of the national or regional elections,
right,
your names are submitted and you are added to the register and you are allowed to vote. And so there is a reason why Tescon could not vote. You know why?
No.
The NPP, some of the candidates alleged, and in fact those who went to court are alleging that Tescon is not functioning in many of the institutions, but some executives manufactured lists of non-existing students as executives. So that is it. Why didn't they vote? So the bottom line is that
there's a non-existent Tescon.
So if there is
but
a Tescon,
people collect
names. That was it. If you have so if you have a Tescon president, so if you have a Tescon president who was legitimately elected, why didn't the person vote? The point is that you denied your student wing an opportunity to take part in a critical decision making, like voting for a leader.
But if there has been wrongdoing, like you are alleging, then the injunction comes in handy.
Johnny, so if the injunction, so that tells you, that you were preparing for an election, but they're not supposed to prepare the register, get everybody who is supposed to vote down and everything.
Okay.
Why didn't they address that issue?
I hear you.
For us in the NDC, even at this time, we have 2 members from each state representing and voting at national level. We are even making a case for increased representation.
Okay.
Then you are denying your students. Very shameful, very embarrassing.
I hear you.
And you should be apologizing to these students.
I hear you.
Johnny.
Yes, sir.
First of all, it is clear that a political party, in fact, today you just said it in your monologue, that we consider ourselves as a party for the elite.
Right, elitist, capitalist.
We have always cherished our young people, especially in the tertiary education. And we have big people now making big things who have come from the Tescon level. Francis Asensubuachi, who was the Deputy Chief of Staff and political assistant to the President, now the Minister for Works and Housing. In fact, he formed Tescon in 2000. We have Charles Owedu, who was a Tescon leader, now the High Commissioner to South Africa, a former Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs. We have Davis Opoku, who in UCC I was with, was a Tescon leader, now a member of parliament. The list goes on and on and on. So we are youth-oriented. We focus on them. Listen, is it today? The Tescon group has been voting all this while. There's an issue that has to be addressed. And what he's saying is not true. I mean, he's taking advantage of what happened to just make a general, a big brush and this is what. But
then do you get the sense that the Tescon guys are not happy? And I listened to them on radio. We spoke with some of them. They were not so happy. That they traveled.
They have the right
distance to come.
They have the right to be angry. It's not a good thing. Okay, and it has to be fixed. This is the issue now. The convention says that the Tescon president or a representative, okay? So that lacuna is creating a lot of problem for us. So once it says or a representative, so the leader, the youth leader in that region or the Tescon president can so decide whoever that representative will be. So it is the duty of the party to ensure that we have, some form of law or, something, a constitution that clearly spells out exactly rigidly
somebody said
who should vote.
Somebody said,
and somebody
told me over the weekend that, look, here's what happens.
Why do we amend constitutions?
There are universities. I mean, we know the traditional universities in this country. We know universities that are accredited and, are identified. But there are mushroom universities that people go create their own Tescon and say they are represented as coming.
So, for example, if it's UDS, Okay,
Their
and
own Tescon. We don't do that
UDS
for things.
you just-
Correct it.
UDS, they have campuses, all that. And then, now the question is the UDS proper, and there's a Tescon. And then there's also a satellite campus. You also have another Tescon. So these are issues moving forward we need to address. And just so you know, the party can only amend its constitution when there's a national delegate conference where we come together, propose and all of that. We have seen that there's a challenge in that department, okay? And somebody went to court to challenge it, and there was an injunction.
Are you willing to fix it?
Of course, it must be fixed.
What do you say to the claim that those you couldn't
disenfranchise
influence, you disenfranchised? Those you couldn't influence, you disenfranchised.
That's
Because the
not true.
Tescon guys were going to
there were
vote in a certain direction, and because they couldn't be influenced, they were
There were
disenfranchised.
constituencies that couldn't vote. So it's not like peculiar to Tescon. I mean, that's why Stephen Ntima has promised that within 100 days, starting from today, he will ensure that all conflict areas in the party will be
If
resolved.
Tescon had voted, the 291 plus the 50, and that's 306, if they had voted, would it have made any difference for any of the
There are others who
candidates?
couldn't vote. It still could have made a difference. Unfortunately, that's just, you've been
So
in politics.
people were
You are young, but you've
people-
been in politics for a while. There are times when we go into elections, and some people will not vote, not because they don't have the right to vote, but there are genuine
entire
challenges.
student wing.
No,
It's shameful.
no,
You guys
no,
have to apologize.
no.
I don't know why. You
But
see, admit
listen.
that you treated the students unfairly.
But I have-
admit you don't care about these students.
That's not
admit
true.
that you
That's not
recognize
true.
the so-called
I've given you
lacuna in the
facts.
constitution,
There's
but you
I've
failed
given
to
the
act
fact
on
that
it.
students have been
The
recognized
constitution was not
in the party.
the constitution was not birthed on the day of the
Students
elections.
have been
Why
recognized
you didn't
in
see
the
it
party.
all this while?
Tescon members have been recognized in the party. Okay, we've as a party we have deliberate steps to ensure that at the end of the day the president or any active member of Tescon is taken care of. Okay, what happened on Saturday is extremely unfortunate. I am promising you as a political party